5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You blitz all night. And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out.
Hey, the Blitz is coming, boys.
What's going on? Welcome to The Blitz. I'm your host, William Spencer, and with The Blitz, I'm giving you the best, the latest, and greatest in fantasy football news, tips, and advice to help you get through your fantasy season in just 5 minutes or less. In this episode, we're discussing Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson and what fantasy managers should consider if they have him on their rosters. But before we jump into the episode, follow the Fantasy's Finest YouTube channel for the latest episodes of The Blitz. And you can also find The Blitz in audio format on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, without further ado, let's get into the latest episode. Now, Deshaun Watson is back in the news cycle after dropping a video on his social media stating that he's planning to return better than he was before. Now, Watson has been struggling over the last few seasons, dealing with off-the-field issues, season-ending injuries, and low performances, even when he was healthy. Recently, in a presser at the NFL annual meeting, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam stated that trading for Watson was, quote, a big swing and miss. Haslam also admitted that he believed that Watson would be their next franchise quarterback, but ultimately, the deal didn't pan out as they had hoped. The Browns' offseason moves indicate that they are preparing to move on from Watson. They restructured his contract, freeing up nearly $36 million in cap space, traded for former Eagles backup quarterback Kenny Pickett, and recently signed Joe Flacco to a one-year, $4 million contract, which has $13 million worth in incentives. With Deshaun Watson also suffering a re-injury of his Achilles and expected to miss much of the 2025 season, the writing looks to be on the wall that his time in Cleveland could be coming to an end. Now, fantasy managers should be a bit peeved at Watson's performance over the last few seasons with the Browns, and if you invested in him in dynasty formats, you're probably kicking yourself about now. Even more so if you sent over a hefty trade to get him. While he was with the Houston Texans, Watson averaged 20-plus fantasy points per game, making him one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy football. Back-to-back QB4 finishes in 2018 and 2019, and a QB5 finish in 2020. Even playing just 7 games in his rookie season, Watson averaged 24 fantasy points per game. So believe me, I get why you made the deal. Watson is sitting at a crossroads in his career right now and will turn 30 once the 2025 season gets underway. So, what do you do with a fantasy quarterback that's likely not to play in 2025? Realistically, you can either cut him or keep him. Watson's fantasy value in Dynasty League should be in the shadow realm right about now. Watson averaged just 13.2 fantasy points over his last 3 seasons while not finishing in any of them, and presents a huge risk to fantasy managers in trade deals. Your best bet may be to keep Watson on injured reserve on your fantasy roster and hope for the best. The other option is to cut bait with him altogether. If your league doesn't have an injured reserve spot, which it should if you're playing in dynasty formats, it may be wise to just release him altogether and let him be somebody else's problem. There's always a chance Watson gets another shot at being a starter, but right now, it just doesn't seem likely. Watson has to regain trust in the league and stay on the field injury-free. He also has to get back to what he used to be, being a top-tier quarterback like he was with the Houston Texans. With the Browns in position to grab a quarterback in the draft with the 2nd overall pick in the 1st round and already having other quarterbacks on the roster, it wouldn't be a complete surprise to see Watson released at some point soon. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of The Blitz. Make sure you're subscribed to the Fantasy's Finest YouTube channel or on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss out on the show. See you guys in the next episode.
Yo, come back now, yeah?